Welcome to my channel Priyanka's Learn It Well. In today's episode, in continuation to the introduction to infix, postfix and prefix, I'll be taking up the conversion of infix expression to the postfix expression using a stack. There are several steps to convert an infix string to the postfix string. There are the list of steps that are listed on the screen. Let us understand with the help of an example. Let us consider an infix string that is a plus b into c. Let's say we have been given this string and we need to convert this infix string into a postfix string. Let's understand these steps. First, we need to scan the infix string from left to right. That is, we would be scanning this particular string starting with A and ending it with the closing bracket. We have to initialize an empty stack. So with this I mean that we would be having 3 columns for solving the problem of converting infix to postfix, where we would be having the scanned character, a stack and a postfix string. Let's understand, when we have a scanned character as an operand, we would be adding it to the postfix string. So in this example, we can say that A, B and C are the operands, so they would be pushed to the postfix string. And if the scanned character is an operator, if the stack is empty, we would be pushing the character onto the stack. So if we encounter a plus or a multiplication, we would be pushing it onto the stack if it is empty. Well, if the stack is not empty, we would be comparing the precedence of the character with the element on top of the stack. Let us work out these steps with the help of a simple expression, that is A plus B cross C. That is an infix expression and we need to convert it into a postfix string. Let's understand with the help of these steps. So the first step is that we need to start scanning from the leftmost character in the string. So the first character to be scanned is A. Now we say that if the scanned character is an operand, we would be adding it to the postfix string. Now for the beginning, we do not have anything in the stack, so we say that we have initialized it with an empty string. Now for the postfix string, we would be pushing the element A onto the postfix string. Let's come to the next character, that is a plus. Now plus is an operator, so you can see that if the scanned character is an operator and if the stack is empty, we need to push the character to the stack. So the first element to be pushed onto the stack is plus and the postfix string remains the same. Let's come to the next element, that is a parenthesis. Now on scanning the parenthesis, we would be directly pushing it onto the stack without any comparison, and the postfix string remains the same. The next character to be scanned is B. So the next character we would be scanning is B. So the for the scanned character B, we would be having the same characters in the stack, and for the postfix string we would be adding it to the postfix string. Since we know that when the scanned character is an operand, we would be adding it to the postfix string. Now let's come to the next element, that is a multiplication. So on multiplication, we would be pushing it onto the stack. Now before pushing it onto the stack, we would be seeing the top of the stack. Now since it is parenthesis, there is no comparison, so we would be directly pushing it onto the stack and the postfix string remains the same. Coming to the next character, that is C. On scanning the character C, the stack remains the same and we would be pushing the element C onto the postfix string. Now coming to the last element, that is a closing bracket, we would be seeing that we would be pushing the element closing parenthesis onto the stack. Now one thing to notice here is, whenever we have a character enclosed within a opening and a closing bracket onto the stack, we would be popping the entire element and pushing it onto the postfix string. So here we would be having A, B, C and multiplication. Now for now we have reached the end of the string. So here whatever is there in the stack would be carried on to the postfix string. So the string that we would be having is abc star plus. So we can say that for this particular infix expression, the postfix expression is abc star plus. We would be taking a more complex example to understand the steps to convert to postfix in an elaborate manner. Let us now solve a more complex problem of infix expression wherein we have a lot of variation in terms of the operands and the operators. Let's start scanning from left to right. Before we start the scanning, we need to recall that we have precedence of operators where the exponential has the highest precedence, followed by the multiplication and division, and that is again followed by plus and minus with the least precedence. Let's start with the scanning. So the first element to be scanned is A. So we know that whenever there is an operand that is scanned, that will be pushed onto the postfix string, and if there is an operator like minus, multiplication, division, and so on, that would be pushed onto a stack if it is empty. And if the precedence of the scanned character is less than that of the top of the top of the element is popped. Let's continue with the scanning. So when we scan A, it is an operand, and we have an empty stack. So the first element to be pushed onto the postfix string is an A. The next element to be scanned is a minus. So minus is an operator and the stack is empty. So we would be pushing the minus sign onto the stack. So we have the stack as minus and the postfix string remains as A. The next element to be scanned is an open parenthesis. The open parenthesis has no precedence, so that will be pushed directly onto the stack. So the next element to be pushed onto the stack is opening parenthesis and the postfix string remains the same. The next element to be scanned is an alphabet B. So on encountering B, so B is an operand, so this will be pushed on to the postfix string. So we would be getting the postfix string as AB. The next element to be scanned is a multiplication. Now multiplication is an operator and the stack is not empty. So we'll see the top of the stack. Since top of the stack is a parenthesis, we have no comparison of precedence to be made, and multiplication will be directly pushed onto the stack with the postfix string remaining the same. The next element to be scanned onto the next element to be scanned is an alphabet D. Now D is an operand, so the operand will be pushed on to the postfix string. So we'll be having ABD. The next element to be scanned is plus. Now plus is an operator, so we need to compare this particular operator with the top of the stack. Now the precedence of plus is less than that of multiplication, so we need to pop out the multiplication and push in the plus. So we'll be having a bracket plus where this will be popped and put into the postfix string. So this is how we'll be having the postfix string. So we have popped the multiplication because the currently scanned character, that is plus, is having less precedence than the multiplication. So multiplication cannot stay on the top of the stack. So the next element to be scanned is an opening parenthesis. So we know that this will be directly pushed onto the stack with the postfix string remaining the same. The next element to be scanned is an alphabet C. Now when we scan the alphabet C, that is directly going to the postfix string. So we have ABD cross C. The next element to be scanned is a multiplication. Now multiplication again has to be checked with the top of the stack. Now the top of the stack is a parenthesis, so this will be directly pushed onto the stack since there is no precedence comparison, and the remaining string remains the same. Now coming to the next element, that is E. So the currently scanned element is E, and the stack remains the same, since we have to push the operand onto the postfix string. So the string becomes ABD cross C and E. Now next element to be scanned is a plus. Now plus is an operator, so this has to be compared with the top of the stack. Now we see that the top of the stack is a multiplication, and plus is having a lesser precedence than multiplication, so this has to be popped out. So the new stack would be parenthesis plus opening parenthesis, and plus will be pushed into the stack, and multiplication will be pushed onto the postfix string. So we'll be getting this string as CE and multiplication. Now let's come to the next element, that is F. Now F being an operand should be pushed onto the postfix string, so the stack remains the same, and the postfix string becomes ABD star CE star and F. Now let's come to the closing parenthesis. So the next element to be pushed onto the stack is a closing parenthesis. Now one thing to be taken care here is whenever there is an operator in between an opening and a closing parenthesis, we would be popping out that character from the stack and putting into the postfix string. So we'll be popping out the plus and we'll be putting into the postfix string with an updation of F plus. Now let's come to the next element, that is a division. Now this is an operator, and we need to compare it with the top of the string, since the scan character has a precedence greater than the top of the element, so it can be pushed directly into the stack, and the string remains the same. Let's come to the next element, that is G. Now G being an operand will be pushed onto the postfix string. Now let's come to the next element, that is a closing parenthesis. So closing parenthesis will be directly pushed onto the stack. Now you can see that there are two elements in this stack, that is between the opening and the closing parenthesis. So we'll be pushing that, so we'll be popping these two elements from the stack and putting it in the same order in the postfix string. So we'll be first popping the division, and then we'll be popping out the plus. Now let's talk about the next character, that is a multiplication. Now multiplication needs to be compared with the top of the stack, that is minus. So since multiplication is having a greater precedence than minus, so it will remain that will be pushed into the stack, and the string remains the same. Now let's come to the next element, that is J. Now J being an operand will be pushed onto the postfix string, so that I get the string as star CE star F plus G plus, and this has to be pushed onto the stack. Now let's talk about the next element. So here we say that we have reached the end of the string. So now we do not have any element to be scanned. So whatever is there in the stack has to be emptied into the postfix string, so as to get AB, the final string, as ABD star CE star F plus G division plus J. Now this will be popped in the manner that is, the first top of the element is popped and then the next. So the next is multiplication and minus. So we get an equivalent of this infix expression. So we can say that for this particular infix expression, we get a postfix expression given as ABD star CE star F plus G division plus J star minus. This is an equivalent expression for the infix expression given above. Thank you for keeping up with my channel. If you're liking my content, do like and share the content. And if you're new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for all the notifications from Priyanka's Learn It Well. Thank you.